take the trophy? No, he already skilled Q. So he cannot force a flash from Gamsu, but will get deep vision. Fnatic now knows, okay, Elements are on top side, and that's where the mind games really start, because now with Elements stay on top side, which is the normal thing, especially because minions are spawning earlier still, or do they recall and be like, mind games, we ward top side, but then we recall and send the AD carry bottom side.
Oh, double
crazy mind games on mind games, and
Minions
Weldon is proud because of all the mind games.
Legal Weldon, but we'll be heading back into their jungle now, so will the mind game happen? We'll just have to see. You said it was the trophy. It's actually going to be the traffic cone in this game.
Yeah, it's Policeman.
Policeman Trundle. There you go.
Steve keeping the control. Elements did decide to play it standard and stayed on the top side of the map. They also didn't see Fnatic at all run past the ward, so they're basically saying they are very high chance on the bottom side. Therefore, we will stay top. They get the lane swap we mentioned, because you don't really want to play into standard lane, especially not against double range. You know, Lucian, Soraka lane, super annoying to deal with. So I 100% understand the swap itself. But Trundle is pretty good at pushing down towers.
Yes.
It's a bonus, it's a small thing, but it is a bonus.
Frozen Domain, pretty good. Lots of attack speed, lots of chomps, lots of damage.
I guess technically he actually doesn't get level 2 by the time he's on the first tower, so never mind, sucks for you, Trundle. You stand and smack it with your...
Trudgeon.
Whatever it's called. What was the American phrase for it?
Something, was it Nightstick?
Nightstick?
Stress was telling me, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, Nightstick? No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But I think he's right, though. Anyway, Keystone Masteries, anything out of the ordinary? I don't really think so.
No, standard.
Win speakers for Alistair, looking for those team fights, of course, because they have a team fight competition versus Bond of Stone. Jungle is the same. Mid lane, Ica opting towards the Thunderlords. And that's it, really. I guess the other one is Feather been going for Thunderlords as well. Some Azirs have been going for Feather Battle, because you actually stack it up and applies.
That has been changed. Sadly, it's been hotfixed. No longer possible for Azir. That's why Thunderlords is the way to go now.
That was so fun.
Yeah, it lasted a little bit of time, and then people figured it out, and they're like, nope.
Kind of busted.
Oh, it's not intended, let's change it. Ica under pressure. Now this is going to happen. Lissandra in lane against some of these long-range champions like Azir will struggle a little bit and get pushed down, but it shouldn't be enough to like set Lissandra super far behind. Just expect some damage on that mid tower.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Steve taking up that top turret, and as you mentioned, we're just going to have these ones exchanged. Mid lane is just going to be even as Featherman pushes it in. He's low on mana, so he may be doing the old recall fairly shortly. Reckless has acknowledged this is a farm game, so what are we going to do? It's call time. And he'll be going into the top lane now, putting the strong lane up there to push this one out. In Spirit, he's at grand old time.
Where's Elements going with the bottom lane?
What?
Did
teleport
Gamsu push out the bottom lane? Yeah, he does. Okay, Gamsu's pushing down a massive wave, so that's why Elements are swapping. The AD carry support now, they ran to the lane, saw that Gamsu was pushing, and they're like, hold on, we can just put Trundle down here. He's gonna take this massive wave. That's why Spirit, by the way, is staying nearby, because they want to make sure Gamsu can push it all the way into tower. Elements react a little bit too late on it, that's why Steve is not here yet. And Spirit is just here to make sure Gamsu doesn't get ganked, so he can push it in, and Steve won't be able to set up a massive freeze that's gonna last for, you know, minutes and minutes and minutes. It's gonna be pushed in, but he will still pick up some of this farm, and it should be very even between them.
Well, Gamsu missed the cannon, though. That was a lot of gold down the drain, but Steve, he's going to be receiving the wave. Yeah, I can't get the freeze, but at the very least he'll be getting the experience in some of the farm.
Problem is for Elements, because they ran to bottom side, they obviously didn't gain anything with Mr. Alice, and then they had to run all the way to top side. Have a big wave coming though, and also took Grump on the way to stay even in experience. And now we get standard lanes, just past the first few early levels. And Steve will be able to slow push out this bottom side, and it's very even with the teams. So we see this more and more. Top laners will wave clear once they kill the tower. Just want to see if they can get extra farm, so just keep pushing the lane. If the enemy team doesn't react in time, they send a dual lane to that lane anyway, and they just push it back out, and you just gain like what, 5-6 extra CS, maybe even more. You can just swap around on it though, because now you have Gamsu in a really bad situation, because he can't get to last hit the minions. He's afraid of overextending. So he's sitting in that super annoying spot where he's still keeping the wave pushed. He's just missing out on some of the last hits because he has to get so close to tower to do it.
Can't get the bounce down. That's not great. But if Gillius shows in mid lane, because he's thinking about going in. And I believe he stepped over a ward as well. No, he didn't. He's good to go. So Gamsu has the general position of Gillius, but he could have been in the bot side. Ica goes towards the Abyssal Scepter, which, I mean, makes sense in this matchup. Makes sense in a lot of mid-lane matchups
I mean,
nowadays.
yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer almost. It's like, strongest AP item early game? Yeah, I'll probably take it in almost every matchup possible. I've even seen on Azir, you go like, either just go Negative Cloak into Nashus, or you actually go straight Abyssal and then Nashus second. But Febvin is not really going to be under pressure. Also against the TP, and he has cleanse, so I think for him just going straight Nashus so he can actually pressure the lane, which is what he's looking for. He's opting for the more aggressive route. He wants to push the lane over and over and over, and hit the tower over and over and over. Could get ganked though. Gragas Cassandra is a lane that will destroy him, especially if he goes Nashor, because he's obviously super squishy.
Yeah, as soon as Gilius hits level 6, it's just like bam, there's the ultimate, Ica with his own Glacial Prison, and then, or Frozen Tomb rather, and then bam, you are pretty dead.
Gilius he is selling his top lane a little bit. He needs to be on bottom side of the map, because on top side, there's nothing. It's just 2 Fnatic members and minions. Bottom side, Steve wants to push his wave out now, but he's actually losing a bit of CS himself. This is, again, some small amounts. Because Gilles is on the opposite side of the map. He needs his jungler there to back him up. He's now going to get Mr. Alice and Spuddle. But it's kind of lousy backup because they're not here to help you. They're actually here to take away everything you own. Push you away.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, no, it's pretty terrible backup, honestly.
Well, 73% over to Fnatic. Definitely had the fan vote in this one. Makes sense. Elements, of course, they pulled the upset win against Unicorns, but...
See, Rallis took already 1 CS.
Oh, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I know.
Where's the tax?
Yeah, that's 2.
I mean, he is the policeman, so...
So he should get taxes, or he should?
I don't know.
I mean, he should.
He should. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
police does pay taxes.
Yeah, that is true to Visio. And they're now going to come in and actually get a gank onto Fnatic. The flash, the E, the first blood over to Ralles. Kly's getting chunked down. He's trying to put the healing down onto his allies, but he's going to be flashed after. Steve will come in, but now Febvin coming in this 1-on-4 will get the kill, the second kill, in for the double. Ica plants the wall. Ralles should be able to pick up this kill though, and Febvin accepts his fate. 4 kills over 2 Elements.
What an absolutely insane play from Elements here, just pushing in the lane. Alright, the lousy backup worked out. It gave Steve a kill and 2 assists as well. They move in with this big wave that sent down Gileas. You know, they're moving everyone down. Steve as well was already on the bottom side. And Fnatic just getting completely caught on their own tower. 4 kills for Elements. And we talk about how if everything goes as expected in the standings, you know, then Elements and Splice will play a tiebreaker, and then Fnatic and Origin will play tomorrow for 4th place. If Elements are able to upset Fnatic now, it ruins everything.
Actually ruined. Not for Elements though.
No, I mean, for them it's awesome, right? But for everything we had expected.
Yeah.
Which is all that matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was an extremely messy last fight. But yeah.
Yeah, no, we have to see that again because
yeah, for sure.
I didn't get to see if one of the Fnatic members were really late to the party, maybe. I'm actually just going to go back on... I'm going to cheat and go back on my own screen.
Okay.
To see it again.
So we should be getting it very shortly.
Yeah, Elements is with 4 members on the bottom side, obviously, and we have Gamsu, Spirit, and Kly's already here to defend. But it's just a 4v3 dive. Straight up, you know. Soraka is super squishy, Spirit gets caught as well, and super good coordination from Elements with this dive. And this is what we wanted, you know, 9 weeks of practice, no roster changes from this team. They came into the split and said, you know what, boys? We are better than what people say about us, you know. People are like, oh, Elements, no. I mean, that lineup.
Hey, they proved the point.
Instant relegation, you know. They started out winning 3 games against the other bottom teams, basically just beat everyone around them. And then ever since they kind of struggled to really get a foothold of the league, but this is the kind of stuff we want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. As a quick update, you probably put 2 and 2 together as you saw Febby on screen, but he had some mouse issues, so we're just swapping that one out, and then we should be getting that one ready to go. Spirit's just looking over and it's like, nice mouse.
Yeah, I like your new mouse. He wants a new mouse as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to have it further.
Yeah, we're going to unpause. He's going to actually...
Can I get that mouse?
Yeah.
We should have a replay coming up with that dive in the bottom lane.
Alright, we're getting it right now, so break this one down for me, Divisio.
I mean, it's very simple, honestly, because it's 4v3, and it's a super good setup into Spirit, who's out of mana as well. Just knock him into wall, chain CC, and then you take him down. And look, Steve is tanking the tower this entire time. So there's actually no threat on the other 3 Elements members, and Steve even stays alive until Fibben joins and kills him. And then Ike is like, I want to join as well. Smack into the wall. Rallis and Gilles is enough, though.
Yeah.
Pick up the kill, and honestly, just... a little bit disrespectful almost from Fnatic, saying, oh, 3-man we can defend against 4, even with Ike also rolling down. He had TP as well in case they needed that one. And just super good setup. Also when you have Trundle, Gragas, Alistar, like 3 very tanky, even early game members to set up this dive. Beautiful setup from Elements. And
beautiful setup, but definitely disrespect from Fnatic, because as you said, like it was a 3v4 and they were like, we can hold.
Yeah, I mean,
we have Soraka.
Right there,
it's like, oh wait, no.
You just have to leave. You have to step back. The problem for Fnatic, and the reason they probably said we have to stay, is because Steve had TP anyway.
Yeah.
So if they abandoned the bottom tower and Reckless were the only man pushing top tower, Steve would just TP there. And this is a problem with lane swap in this meta. Even if it goes into standard lanes, after the first tower goes down, it's still part of the lane swap.
Yeah.
And we are in a meta where if you don't mirror what the other team is doing, most of the time you are doing something wrong and you will get punished. So because Fnatic weren't pushing with the 3-4 man on top side and just trading towers, they put themselves in a situation where they could basically get killed on the tower by 4 men of Elements. And only the AD carry were pushing on the other side. Meaning that you can always TP in with your top lane and just take the entire wave, and AD carry can't take tower. So it is one of the reasons we get all these trades with like suddenly 4 towers down at 10 minutes. Because it is just a safer option, and in almost every situation, the better option.
I think the worst thing out of that was that like a 4v4 or 4v3, because Iker wasn't even involved in the action, because he had that move where he kind of like face planted the wall. It's kind of when like you walk into some glass, like a window or something, and it's just like, oh, I want to be part of the part. And then you hope no one saw it. We did, unfortunately.
And you can also hear it because it goes like boring.
It's like, yeah. So he was.
I walk into weird glass, by the way. It says boring. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the window, I guess. I've done it before. Yeah. It hurts a lot. Like you don't expect it, and all out of a sudden, it's just pain on your face. And that's what Iker felt right there.
Great.
Yeah.
Problem is, it's a wall. Like
it is.
You can't see through it. Anyway.
No, and it didn't make a sound. It wouldn't. It wouldn't go boing.
It wouldn't. Definitely not. It would be a weird wall. We can talk about some beautiful stats here that Spells he prepared for us. Because there's a very good point he made during the week here about Cly coming in for Fnatic. He's a guy who's been somewhat criticized. I think rightfully so. He's a better addition for the team than Noxiac. Mainly because Cly gives more to the entire team when it comes to like vision control and also communication. He fits better with the team in that sense. Like he's one of the supports who works the most in the league, a lot more than Noxiac did, and also made Spirit actually step up his game when it came to vision. So those two together have created better synergy in terms of how to set up the map, and also I'm sure something Daylor and the rest of the Fnatic coaching staff has been working a lot on, because it was a big issue for Fnatic earlier. Always behind in vision, forgetting the blue trinkets. That doesn't really happen anymore. But with Cly, we have to be able to look at his individual performance from time to time, where I feel like it has been very shaky, very inconsistent. He has a great game, and then the next game he misses almost every skill shot on Braum, and he gets caught out quite a bit. So there's definitely still some new things, but he is a rookie, young guy.
True.
And at least he's been able to add vision.
He's been able to add value to the team, which is like the best thing, right? Because as you mentioned, he's a rookie. He's only really been in like amateur level teams before as well, like a lot of tournaments kind of even below like Challenger Series, like Nordic Open, that type of stuff. And then now he comes into Fnatic and actually does benefit the team in terms of vision, actually helping out Spirit as well. So it's actually good to see that.
He needs to buy more pinks though.
He does.
But that goes for all of Fnatic. We've said this before.
And you say this about everyone as well.
No.
More pinks.
Vitality and H2K. Like Vitality H2K is 5 pinks every back.
Yeah. Okay.
Back at 2 minutes, 5 pinks. Instant. Not quite, but almost. G2 is a team where we're always looking at it, coming later into the game. Do they forget it? Fnatic is another team who's doing it very often, where it's small things, and when you play yourself, you forget it, because buying a pink ward, it's not exciting.
No.
It's like, do I have to sell my Dorn's Blade for a pink ward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not combat stats.
It doesn't feel great, but you have to do it, because pink wards will win you games.
And it's so cheap now, because like before,
75 gold.
Yeah, it was like the same as a green ward, and you used to pick up more than one of those. So just think of those in those terms. If you're a new player, you won't remember those, but if you're an older player, then it's not so bad.
You have to be a very new player. Only happened this year.
Yeah, very true.
So last year we still had the old vision system.
Had those pinks.
Still waiting for Febiven and his mouse.
We are. We apparently have like 1 or 2 more minutes before it's resolved, so it should be very soon. I see all the Fnatic members looking over. It's like
they all want to look at the mouse.
Yeah. Febby, he's not even looking at his mouse. Come on, man.
He's focusing. You know.
Yes, yeah.
Listening
He's
to
got to get into the zone.
the great quotes of Yamato Cannon. Close your eyes, breathe. Think about your breathing for 5 seconds. That's
And then they
how
win the
he
game.
gets Splice to focus.
Yeah.
Well, they won some games.
We were looking at the correlation as well between Yamato wearing turtlenecks and the win-loss ratio. There seems to be no correlation.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It was kind of sad. I just wanted to say it because I wish there was.
I like how we're talking about Yamato Cannon. I know I brought him up in an
Yeah.
Elements versus Fnatic game.
Good job.
But talk about Ica instead. Because Ica right now, if you look at just purely stats, is the worst performing mid laner in the EU LCS. I think maybe Pepe is close to him.
I don't think that's an unfair statement.
And Ica overall it's been up and down, you know, in the way he's been playing. And overall, no, he's not been looking great in the mid lane. It's been an issue for Elements. They've been losing lanes before around the mid lane, and then they would snowball to the side lanes, where a guy like Rales and a guy like Steve has actually been performing really well, but then it would kind of fall apart around the mid lane. This game, it is dead even between him and Fabian in terms of farm. Now, Fabian did pick up the 2 kills just before the pause, but farm-wise, it is even for Ike. Now we need to see if he's able to engage some of these fights here, create some picks for Elements.
And we're really looking for those team fights as well, really, because when they jump in, he doesn't even need to cast his ultimate on someone. He can just go into the back lines, pop his ultimate on himself, and then create a lot of pressure that way, and maybe zone Reckless and Feb in the way, something like that.
I mean, yeah, Elements has a few options, you know.
Yeah.
You play 1-3-1 because you run double TP and you have a Trundle, so of course you play 1-3-1, and then you use it basically to collapse in these fights here. Trundle in fights late game is very underrated in a lot of ways, because he's gonna steal all the stats. He's so hard to kill, and when he gets the max rank on his pillar as well, the cooldown just drops down so much. He's super hard to deal with. But a lot of people look at him as like almost a pure split pusher. He does offer both things, which is very nice. So Elements definitely have the option to play 1-3-1 now to have gotten this goal lead as well, and then collapse into these fights.
Yeah. We're just jumping back in game for a couple seconds just to see if everything is resolved, and they haven't repaused, so I'm going to say it's resolved.
We back, boys?
Yes! Okay, back in game, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna take down this red buff, Klein, throwing out the bananas, and the Spiralings chiming in 60 gold over the Spirit.
Oh, let's see. So Gamsu now obviously died at tower, has to push out the wave one more time. Steve, thank you very much. I was about to talk about him.
Yeah. You got the setup from the crowd.
I mean, again, it's the funny thing is the top lane now. You push out this wave and you recall instantly and you go take the bot wave and you just do that over and over. You just keep running around and looking for where the waves are coming towards you. Unless they want to do another 4-man push, which looks to be the case for Elements. There is TP for Gamsu, so this is not going to be as easy as before, because now Gamsu can actually TP in. Reckless could not TP before. So now Elements should recall and put the Trundle on bottom side. Take this wave here and slow push it out one more time, so you keep extending that goal lead. And he's running, but he's gonna be slightly late because they look for the option. Could be maybe go 4-man top. Let's see what might happen. Remember, there's no TP for Steve, so you don't want to fight if you're Elements. You do not want to fight on top side.
No, and Rattle does not want to get hit by the damage here. He's going to be jumping in onto Spirit, get some CC. Oh, Gamsu, steadfast presence will stop him in place. Keep his verdict, will do a little more stalling. And Spraddle is trying to get out of here. Spirit will follow up. Gamsu, the hammer shock doesn't land. The cocoon goes on to Gilius. Now Reckless joined the fight. Fevin from the mid lane. Culling will live up to its name. Pick up that kill. Fevin looking to land the Emperor's Divide onto Ica. Look at the damage though onto Fnatic. Everyone is on critical. HP flashing up red. Piercing light will come across. That'll be another kill over to Reckless. That's a 2-for-0 so far in this fight. Ica looking to trade up against Reckless, but he will be getting the short end of that stick. A 2-0 over to Fnatic, evening up the scoreboard.
So many low members in the end here. Maybe we saw some Soraka highlights, potentially some clutch heals.
Yeah.
The problem is, Elements should never be in this situation. You just sent your non-TP top laner to the bottom side. Why are you in the enemy jungle here? You have no business in this jungle, and suddenly Sparta gets caught out. The chase is on. Look here, all 5 members of Fnatic are nearby. Almost getting out. Gamsu even flashing forward, choose the wrong way. Still alive, but now Gilius is the man getting caught out, and Ike is not really able to join. 1 kill, it's gonna be 2 kills, and then Spartal also stays around thinking he might be able to do something, just add in a heal. Crazy ulti from Rales and 4 members, but everyone is still alive, and then sniped on Spartal, and this is just Elements not sticking to what the game plan was supposed to be. Let Trundle go catch waves and farm it out and just make sure he stays ahead in CS because he's going to be a split pusher. He's going to beat this puppy 1v1 and then they invade into enemy jungle.
Over you go.
And suddenly, it's 4 for 4.
Because Elements had such a big lead, it was going to be hard for Fnatic to come back in, but it was just a simple punish. The team followed up.
And it's just like the win for Elements by being in that jungle was so minimal. It was like place one ward,
We got some information.
and
Great.
then maybe you were setting up a potential trap, but you had no clue where the enemy team had their wards. So if you were standing on a ward or not, you didn't know because there was only one sweeper on the side of Gilius. And now, gank on bot lane.
Back up bot lane, Steve in this 1-on-2. Keeper's verdict will knock him up real quick. That's going to be a
Steve's
teleport
angry.
in from the mid lane.
Holy
And
moly.
Steve is turning it around onto Gamsu, who'll pick up the kill. Now Spirit has to run away on 8 legs, but Iker is here to lock him down as well, waiting for those ultimates to come out. Iker has his ready to go. Steve, he's going to be charging after Spirit with the frozen
You don't make
domain.
Steve angry.
And you don't make Steve angry. You won't like him when he's angry. Spirit will turn around, try and put some damage onto Steve, maybe make this kill happen. He'll go into human form, but Iker will make sure he goes down for the count, and he'll be picking up the kill.
Oh, Fnatic not respecting the TP from Iker. Remember, it wasn't used before on the dive on the bottom side. Now, Cly.
Also getting caught out. And he's going to be healing himself, but Delos sitting in the sideline saying, no heals, no meals. And right now, Cly is down. Oh, he's free from Gilius, but will knock him away. He gets the lock out, but Feb been flashed preemptively.
And one of the good things about the cleanse, it works against the Gragas body slam as well. And then he cannot body slam instant shoot you back with the Q. Gets flashed though, gets damage on the bot tower here. This mid tower, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. This is a mid tower. And Steve, 2 kills now on this Trundle. Titanic Hydra incoming. Very little Gamsu can do in this 1v1. He's 2 levels down at this point.
Not good.
We've seen this before
Very
from
not
Steve.
good.
I think he's been a good top laner for Elements this split. Obviously, we're not putting him top 3 or anything, but he's had a lot of stable performances.
Consistent performances, and Rallis as well. Rallis has been consistently good. Definitely performed well in the first couple of weeks, and has just generally just been there, picking up kills, doing well in these games. And now he's 4-0-1. That's a great ultimate in that other team fight around the top side, which actually was almost the Quadra had he been able to follow up. Reckless, he's out of mana. Steve is just going to trudge him to death. Clyde's there with the heals. He's going to flash heal. Starcore will come out as well, and there's some more healing for Reckless. But that almost went real badly. Here's the banana. Oh, lands onto Reckless, but he got the healing out from the banana carrier herself, Soraka.
When you beat Cly with the heal before. Respecting the fact that Ezreal could ulti. Lawless showing he can't snipe. Ezreal had a ward there to spot him, I believe. No, actually no, it's a red ward. So I'm just lying to everyone.
Can you not?
But like, no one wants to deal with Steve now. He's just sitting in that lane and like, Gamzu, you want to take him? No. Okay, let's send up the AD carry. Nope, that's not gonna
Oh,
happen.
you're out of mana? No.
And you want to put 2 members up there? Well, then suddenly Elements can do something on the other side of the map. So Steve is a monster.
Yeah, and the whole team as well. Like, they're hitting item spikes. Mid lane has picked up the Abyssal Scepter, moving towards its next item. Iceborne's being completed in the bottom lane. Ral's still continuing to stack up, going towards the Mirror Mana. Like, Gilius is now a massive tank. Like, it's very difficult to chunk down. And honestly,
He's
he's
I'll give
big.
you that.
Elements have been just playing like pretty well. Okay, they made a mistake when he went into the jungle, but the team fight was actually not badly played. Like Gilius in the mid lane with the flash predict, you know?
And it might be bad for Elements to be ahead in gold at 15 minutes. They're 1-4 this split. When ahead in gold at 15 minutes, they've only won 1 game and lost.
So they should be behind.
So maybe they're like, all right, give him some gold, quick! Like, just give him some gold, and then we can maybe win the game. Still, that's been the problem for Elements. That's why that call before where they lost 2 kills as well happens, because the shot calling kind of falls apart for them. They're not very good at following the game plan into the mid game. That's a little engagement.
Whoa, Gamsu. He's caught out. There's a 2-shot in from the bottom lane. Gilius, ultimate once again. That's the 3rd ultimate in a row which has blasted people away.
Well, I think he tried to see if you can snipe out Reckless, but the heal came in.
The heal came in. I don't think it was enough damage anyway, but at the same time, mid lane, okay, Fezbin, he used the cleanse and he jumped away, but the correlation is still there. Yeah, but Element's been playing well. That being said, like last game they played in the LCS was against Unicorns. They picked up that win, but then before that they lost 5 games in a row. So it's not been going super well from Elements, but this is still a better performance, especially against Fnatic, who were actually like even performing in the week back from IEM. So it's just interesting to see how all these teams are kind of jockeying for positions right now.
Elements is the new Rocket. Because every week on Twitter, a lot of the Elements members go like, oh yeah, great week of scrims, you know, we did really well in scrim, we're ready for the LCS. They walk on stage, and then like, does pretty well for like 10, 15 minutes, and then it's like completely falling apart.
Yeah.
They make a wrong call, you know, engage a wrong team fight, or get caught out. They fall behind, they lose the game, and they after they're like, oh well, we messed up again. I just want to see one game, you know, where they're able to actually execute a 1-3-1 like they have now, and just play clean. Don't overextend. Don't try and go for vision when your top lane doesn't have TP, because then Elements actually has a pretty decent team.
Do you think that because like in scrims when you're like falling behind and you get like 10 kills early, the other team will just like, you know, quit out FF and then they'll go next?
Most
Do you
likely.
think that's the problem? It's just like, oh, we know how to play up until the 17-minute mark because we've been you know, playing up to there, and then teams just quit out.
I mean, that's some of it. It's also just when you play at home in a scrim where it doesn't really mean anything, it's just a lot easier for you to try and test your mechanics and go really aggressive on plays, and oftentimes it will work because you also surprise the other team and maybe they're playing the same way and they're opting into these really risky fights where everyone is just trying to test the mechanics.
Yeah.
You don't do that when you play on stage. It's very, very different. Obviously, you're afraid of making mistakes. You don't want Reddit calling you out, or maybe calls calling you out in his cast. And you also, normally as a team, it becomes a lot more of like, oh, careful, careful, don't overextend. You know, oh, we don't know where the jungler is, so don't go for that play. But in a scrim, you're like, I don't really care, I'm gonna go for it anyway.
Yep.
And then you get the kill because the jungler wasn't there anyway, and it's awesome and you snowball. But in the LCS, you're like, no, don't do it. We have no vision of the jungler, don't want to risk him being there, and you could die. It happens very often, so it's normal for teams, especially in Europe where some of the scrims are very bloody.
Yeah.
Like, teams are just going completely crazy against each other for like 20 minutes, and then if you're behind 5k, you just surrender, go next.
Yeah.
Is that not the greatest practice?
Not currently, because you look at G2 in like the early weeks, they were closing out games like super fast, like pre-30 minutes they were just closing out games, and then they actually made the conscious effort, let's actually just play smarter. And now you look at pretty much everyone or every team doing well in the European LCS, and the games are longer.
And less kills.
Yeah, less kills.
And often
a lot of games.
a funny stat I think as well was the overall damage per minute from EU mid laners is a lot lower than we see in other regions. And a lot of it that comes down to, first of all, we have earlier in the split a lot of fast games. Like the average game time, let's go all the way back to week 1, was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Of like all the games. So obviously when you have these quick games, you get less damage per minute, because late game, when you're 6 item, you deal so much damage. You can make up for everything in the early game. We didn't get those long games. We still don't get them very often, so we don't get that high damage per minute. But also a lot of the teams are playing very macro focused now. So it's more about hitting towers and like pushing in minion waves than straight up going for kills.
Yeah.
And then obviously you don't get very high damage per minute.
But it's still trending upwards though, because you talked about 30 minutes at the start of the split, and now it's like 38, 36. Like 36 was in week 7, 38 rather, and then 36 was in the last week. So it's still almost like a 10-minute difference. Well, not 10 minutes, 8 minutes and 6 minutes.
Great math.
Yeah, it's, yeah, unfortunate.
Well, not much has happened the last 3 minutes or so. It's just been the 1-3-1 from Elements we talked about. Dragon is spawning. They have the first one, so they might be looking to just extend that. I think it's super good to get the second Dragon now, because especially when you play 1-3-1, it's a lot of just getting a few hits on towers every time. Getting the burn damage from Dragon has a lot of value when you're chipping down these turrets. I like the setup, and also when you have full control, because no one has been able to sit top yet. I can is ready with home guards in base in case anyone comes in, but Elements have very poor vision control. Like, how is Fnatic able to have double pink in their own jungle when Steve just pushed that wave all the way to the tower in the bottom lane? Elements should have been in that jungle, taken those pinks, put down their own ward, so if they saw Fnatic move close to Dragon, TP and engage.
Yeah. Oh, Ica going to be taking away his own blue buff here. But that also shows like kind of the difference between like Elements and some of the top teams. It's like they would have instantly made that call, would have been a lot cleaner. Mid tower hasn't even gone down yet in this game, and Elements looking to pressure down that middle lane. Steve, Trafficker, say stop, and Ica will tell Cry also to stop, but he's behind his turret already.
This is the difference, right? Elements didn't have to set up for the dragon that could allow them to set up a TP play and get an open team fight in case Fnatic had moved close. So then they panic a little bit and say, we actually want to fight. We are ahead in gold, 4 kills on our Ezreal, fully stacked tier. We want to fight right now. And it becomes a very forced engage. Just straight up the mid lane, claw over the wall, flash onto Clyde, who then flashes on his own tower, and the engage fails. Flash used, ulti used from Ica, TP used from Steve because he had to go catch a wave, I believe, after. Or maybe he actually TP into the fight, but suddenly you force it too much, and now you slow down the game, because now Ica is not a threat without the ulti, without the flash.
Yep.
And Fnatic can push up on tower.
So, I mean, something we need to keep track on. Actually, this engage in mid lane. Feven pumps the ultimate, but he's already down. Now Gamsu
That
to
happened.
follow up. He goes just down for 1 and 0. Like, Elements were just punished him as he was walking up to turret.
Spraddle on Alistar is not afraid of flash engaging onto you every single time he has the chance. Or just actually just comboing you on the tower. Feven wanted to see if he could poke down tower. Now Gillis setting up a dive.
Gamsu charging up his ultimate. He's going to be knocking away Ica, who did have his ultimate, but they can't protect the tower. Just stop Gileas in his tracks, knocks him towards the wall. Steve following up onto Reckless. Looking for another snipe. Not this time.
Every Gillis ulti is like trying to snipe it.
He was so close though.
If that was really close. But they get tower anyway. The point is not even getting kills here for Elements, it's just pushing them off turrets. Take the first one, take the second one. I like the place they're showing here in Fnatic. Because Gamsu fell so far behind, because they stayed at that bottom lane tower in the lane swap, in the second part of the lane swap, and lost like 3-4 kills, they've been behind ever since.
So, something I want to know is like, yes, Elements have been punishing really well, but Fnatic have made a lot of mistakes this game. Like a bot lane where they went for the 3v4 trying to stop people, randomly dying mid lane, top lane engage as well. Look at this, it's just a good punish.
It is a great combo from Spraddle. This is why his Alistar is banned so often. But still, you need to respect that.
Yeah.
And don't just walk up to tower there with the Alistar with Flash standing right behind the tower. So sloppy mistake from Fibber, that's why he dies, and then suddenly 2 other towers are falling. 4k goal lead for Elements, or 3.5. And they have TPs very soon, so wait 1 minute, go back to 1-3-1. And just TP in behind them. Just flank TP in behind them. You have great engage with Gragas, with Alistar, with Lissandra. Your Ezreal is very fed.
I was about to praise Fevman as well. I was like, look at how much damage he's doing to Rylez, and then Spraddle, rocks up and takes a bunch of damage as well, and he just gets caught. It's just like, okay, Fevman does all this damage, but if he's dying before you can get it out, then it doesn't matter that you have high DPS. And yeah, Elements are constantly punishing them, and they have a good team to do so, and they have a good teamfight composition like we were talking in Champions Select. So
yeah,
this could actually be a win here for Elements.
And now it gets boring, but now it's all about division control. Get the pink wards, set up that Baron, so when you have this 1-3-1 going, if anyone shows bottom side, you start that Baron. Because you want to force a fight anyway, you want to have these wards in enemy jungle, so when you start Baron, they walk down to stop you, you TP in behind him with Lissandra, with Trundle, and you just one-shot someone like Reckless. He has no QSS yet. Gillis managed to steal this one, and now Spirit.
Oh, he lands the cocoon, but
that's about it.
There. Yeah, he got.
No one is bot lane, by the way, because there's no TP. So Elements are just getting a free bot lane tower, and no one can stop him right now because then Baron gets started by Elements.
Gamsu's trying to stop Steve in the top lane, but I really don't think Gamsu can actually beat Steve in a one-on-one now. Ica just hard chilling in bot lane, taking away these turrets.
But you can see Gamsu is building to try and stand toe-to-toe with Steve. Spirit, let's see what happens.
Well, Feverman's here maybe to defend, but
he dies.
Spirit, he's out of there.
But yeah, Gamsu is building to try and 1v1 with the QSS against the Trundle ulti.
Yeah.
But it's not enough because you can never kill the Trundle. He will always push you in. He has more pushing power with the Titanic Hydra. That's 1 kill, by the way. Baron being started. Ica is sitting ready in base with home guards. They're waiting for Soraka and is here to show. There's a warded red buff he can go to. It's being picked now by Elements. You can just TP straight onto it and they will get the kills. Where's the TP?
Well, Gilius is over the wall. I don't know.
Okay.
There it is. And Ica comes into the fight to flash over the wall. There's the ultimate instantly cleansed out. Now he goes into Zonya's. Gamsu looking for the ultimate, knocks 2 away. Maybe Fnatic can make something of this, or maybe not. Gamsu will go down. 2 members are down for Fnatic. Now Elements, they are chunked. They won't be able to go for Baron. So ultimately, they sacrificed Gamsu for the Baron.
A little bit of a strange TP location for Ica. Took the mid lane ward instead, so it
Very
flashed
far
over
back.
the wall instead of taking that one at red buff, you can see a new minimap. Definitely collapse straight onto Fnatic. But they get another kill. No Baron though. Elements are still very far ahead and now they have to wait for Ica to get TP for another player. So let's see, like he TP's down here instead. And therefore he has to flash over the wall. Get a combo, then he's onto Febren who has cleanse as well. So he's not really able to lock down a target, but does a lot of damage and good zone control. Yeah. You see how both damage dealers are not able to enter the fight for Fnatic because of Ica just standing right in front of them with this Lissandra pick here.
At the very least, the ultimate from Gamsu was good onto 2 players. Had he not landed that, it probably would have gone worse and would have lost more people. So that was kind of just kind of a band-aid at the end of that fight. Elements still very far ahead in this game, 6,000 gold. Definitely have the tower lead. Now going on to Dragon as well, going to be the third of the game. Ica's just going to be peacing out, and now Steve is here in the mid lane.
And Splice is sitting and watching this game at the moment, probably very close to crying.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be Splice and Elements both losing their games this week and then play the tiebreaker for 7th place, which means you don't go to the promotion tournament. Talk about after Gamsu's TPing in.
Looking for the flank, goes onto Rallas. The team isn't quite there yet, and Gamsu's getting burnt down. He'll keep his verdict, but that will just be delaying the inevitable. True Shot Barrage comes across, but Spirit is caught out. He'll go up, he'll come down, and he'll go down permanently. In fact, that will be reckless, as Spirit leaves him out to dry. He'll go into his side of the map, or the enemy side rather, and Elements will turn tail and go right towards Baron.
Alright, just get another fight in the mid lane. This was actually started by Fnatic TPing with Gamsu. He's not tanky enough at this point. Rallis again, 3 items fully completed, has the QSS, and he's an Ezreal. Very hard to lock him down for a Puppy. Baron for Elements, and as I said before here, Splice, they needed Elements to lose because Splice are playing G2 and Vitality this week. So we're obviously not expecting them to win, and if Elements can close out this game, they sit as number 7, and therefore will not be going to the promotion tournament. Here's the fight. It's on to Rallis. Gamsu at this point gets collapsed on by so many members, and nice little traffic cone here from Steve onto 3 members of Fnatic, and just forcing both Febren and Reckless to stay really far back in this fight and not able to really enter and deal any damage, and therefore not follow up on Gamsu's engagement. The team fights from Elements have been a lot better in this game. Like the coordination, big fan of Spraddle on Alistar, and also Steve on this Trundle here.
Yeah. I even like Ica on Lissandra in this game. Like, we've had a lot of kind of weaker performances on other champions, like Azir, that type of stuff, and there's definitely, like, just straight up lost lane. Like, the Karma game, for example, down 40 CS. There was a point in lane where Bevin hadn't crushed him. It was like, it was equal farm, and then, okay, like, his engages haven't been fantastic, but he hasn't just gotten dominated out of lane. Bevin, he just found Gilius, but Steve's in the bottom lane, just taking your turrets, taking everything you own.
Yeah, I think Gilius stepped in to put a ward down, and then Soraka's silence came down. And he probably got cocooned by Spirit, and then he just died. He couldn't flash out.
But it's the commitment. 5 people went onto him to pick up that kill. Steve takes the bottom lane turret. Now the inhibitor is exposed. Ica's in the top lane, just taking in a turret. With the added damage coming in from Dragon, he's gone away. Another 400 gold in the bank. Like, Gilius is actually fine to die there because Element just picked up so much.
Yeah, he's obviously not expecting Fnatic to sit there with 3-4 members. That's why he just walks in to put down a ward.
Sure. And
then he gets caught out and dies. But as you said, Steve on bottom side, there's no one who can stop him. No one's been able to stop him since, like, what, minute 6? Remember, Fnatic were pushing that bot lane as well. Gamsu after tower. Steve came down, took the entire wave, slowly pushed it up, got joined in by his team, which then ended up in the collapse, giving 4 kills for Elements. Really started to snowball, and they've been able to just continue pushing the advantage outside of one mistake where they gave up 2 kills.
But still, Fnatic being on the back foot for a lot of this game, and it's just been so messy from them in terms of individual performances and just the shot calling and also the skirmishes they've gone for. Like, generally the mechanics have been okay, but like the decision making has been definitely not what we're used to when it comes to Fnatic.
I still hate Soraka. I know it's a hindsight thing, but my problem with Soraka is always when you play against 1-3-1 comps, she has no value. Because she can't force anything. All she can is like sit back and wait for a team fight, and then she peels back with her carries and like trying to keep someone alive. She's very good into poke, obviously. But 1-3-1ing, she has no playmaking ability, and she's only able to ulti to help a side lane. Obviously, it's more than just a Soraka pick itself, but it's one of the reasons it's not working out for Fnatic at all. Because Steve is just constantly split pushing over and over and over and over and over, and as soon as he got ahead, he's just been massive pain in the butt.
Yeah, and in the bot. So Fnatic kind of had this formula we were talking about, like on the analyst desk and coming into this week, and they kind of went a little away from it. Gonna hold that for a second as Steve takes some damage in the bot lane, but Gamsu may be caught out. Gideon was thinking of pulling the trigger and popping the ultimate, but they changed the formula very slightly in this game. Could they have not just done the same thing? Like Lee Sin was up, they could have just put like a tanky support bot lane, anything like that.
I mean, I think taking away Lucian was fine. I think early pick and Poppy was good as well for Fnatic. But definitely don't disagree on that. Then later on, yeah, we can talk about impact on Elise compared to Lee Sin. We can talk about the Soraka pick. I feel like those are picks we can question. And now Elements will just slowly push down this tower. There's not a whole lot Fnatic can do because how do you engage with this comp? You TP in with Gamsu and that's basically it. Everything else, not able to do anything.
I mean, Elements are just looking for a crack in the armor right now, and they're going to expose one in the mid lane as that tower goes down. Now both the inhibitors are exposed, and Fnatic, it's a tough situation to be in. Steve is pushing the bot lane, Elements and the rest of the team is pushing the mid lane. Fedvin's getting slowed down by the traffic cone. There's another one. And Ica looking for a chance to engage here. And Steve will be backing away, so both of the inhibitors drop, and here's the engage coming in from Gamsu, and Spraddle will be in the back lines trying to zone him away. Steve will come in. And Spraddle is actually dropping very low. Gideons will jump into the fight. Fedvin will pop the ultimate there, and that'll be the 2 kills going over to Fnatic. Now Ica, Steve, and Raz will be running away. Gamsu closing in from the side flank, but I'm not sure if he can catch up.
So this is where the Soraka will have a lot of value, because once we get to the 5-on-5 team fights, the silence from Soraka against Lissandra, first of all, when you see the claw coming in. Very effective. You have to stop the claw earlier, so you don't just jump straight into the silence and you can't do anything. But also Alistar. Smartly, he flashed in, knocked up Reckless, then he got silenced so he couldn't headbutt him back into his own team. And it just stopped a lot of the combos from Elements, but that's purely in the 5-on-5 team fights where you get that value from Soraka, like we saw here in the last fight. They are still super far behind, like 10,000 gold, 2 inhibs down. Elements got enough, even though the gave up 2 kills. Like, look here now, so let's see where the silence comes in from Clyde, because it's engaged from Gamsu, and then Spraddle combos in, gets silenced, so you can't headbutt back Reckless, and Reckless has time to then flash out. And now obviously the healing is very effective, because it's different targets taking damage, and that's why Soraka can just keep healing around them, also with ulti. And no one got bursted down in time.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone is now healthy and able to chase out, and Rala's also out of mana, so tricky situation for Elements to fight in. They got 2 inhibs down though.
Well, that's the main point, right? Like, Fnatic are starting to maybe get the upper hand in some of these fights, but they're losing so much. Like, they lost the middle inhibitor tower and the inhibs themselves.
And now Elements needs to be careful. We saw Rocket in this exact situation against Origin last week. 2 inhibs down, mid and bot lane. Baron was about to spawn. They decided to try and go for that top tower, despite having lost the fight already, to try and push in that tower and get the last inhib, instead of just warding up the jungle and wait for the Baron itself. It's not that they can't win a fight here, because they're still very far ahead. It's just it gives Fnatic a chance to actually take a fight near their own base with a tower alive. Wait for super minions, and then either once they are down defending it, you take tower, or you take the Baron.
Had that cocoon landed onto Rales.
This is good so far, because they're not engaging into a fight. They're waiting for super minions every time, slowly just hitting the tower a few times. So I like that. Don't overcommit like Rocket did last week.
Pushing up the top tower, but it's also like some sort of CC landing. There's the culling. Reckless putting some chunk damage onto Rales.
And now Baron.
And now Baron is up, and Steve is still pushing in the base. They're trying to get a pick down. Gamsu doesn't get the stun, but does get the Keeper's Verdict for the knockup. Fevin wants to try and get in range. Steve still being chased down by Gamsu, keeping him split from the pack. He does have teleport though, and he's going to recall back to base.
Both top laners with TP. Elements were just baiting out the Baron. Not as effective as it used to be because of the blue trinkets. So when you are sitting there, it's very easy for the other teams to just pop in, as we see here, the blue trinket, and spot that you're not doing it. You need to actually stand at the bush at the Raptor camp instead, because then the range of the trinket won't reach into the Baron pit. If you don't stand at that one, it's easy for them to move close, blue trinket. every time. Now everything is on cooldown, so Fnatic has to get close to check. TP's coming in. This is the fight for Elements.
From 2 players, this is going to be a hard collapse, and Clyde's the first one to go down. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Iker will come in. There's the policeman, Trundle. Freeze, it's the police. That's double kill coming in for Ezreal. Now Steve will chase after Spirit as well. He wants to keep him in range, looking for the traffic cone. You want to stay where you are, and Steve will now rotate to the mid lane. And with 3 players down from Fnatic, Elements are looking in for the win.
They should be able to get it. Paul's here pushing for the last turn, and what an upset from Elements. Last week they beat Unicorns a lot, and now Fnatic.
Elements moving on to the Nexus, and this will be the upset against Fnatic, taking it as it comes down to the wire.
This is so huge for Elements. They should be happy, they can be proud.
They are.
This is what most likely secures Elements another split in the EU LCS, because now Splice has to win one of the 2 games they're playing against, either Vitality or G2, to even tie Elements and then force that tiebreaker tomorrow. If that doesn't happen, Elements sits as number 7. They push down Splice to the promotion tournament. Obviously you don't go into the playoffs, but you can now start preparing for the summer split instead. This win was the most important win Elements have had all split long.
And was not what the community, what we were expecting to happen in this game. The first 2 games, we were like, this is cut and dry. It's going to be 2 easy wins for these top 6 teams. And it just did not work out. You can start talking about Champions League, you
What a
can
great
start
game,
talking
though.
about some of the problems that they